What's good, everyone? This is KB from Chords Squad, and today I'm gonna bring you a video about chord progressions. So, in this tutorial, I'm basically gonna break down the key essential points to building a good chord progression, as well as some techniques and tricks to bring your chord progressions to life. Let's get into it. So, I already have FL open, and I've already chose my scale. And the scale that I picked today is an F sharp minor. Now, the way I like to go about chords is I like to start at the root note. So let's start on F. And I like to build my chords around the circle of fifths. So basically what that is inside your scale, each chord has, each note has its own number that correlates to it. For instance, F sharp is the 1 in the scale because it's the root note. Now, saying that, that would mean that G sharp is 2 and A would be 3. And we're going to want to put A in because that's the 3rd. And then you would go up to the 5th and then the 7th and so on. So basically what this is all of these notes right here, basically they'll sound good together. Like there's some sort of science behind why. I don't know the technical reasons behind why. All I know is that it works for me. Now, taking these notes right here, we're going to build our progression off of that. So we're going to start with E first, then we're going to go A second, C sharp 3rd, and F sharp for the last one. Alright. Now, going based off of what I just taught you, we're going to build these chords. So now for building chords, I'm sure you've heard from plenty of other people, all you have to do is skip every other highlighted note. So we'll skip F sharp, go to G sharp, skip A, go to B. So now we have our first chord. Let's listen. Alright, so let's do the rest for all the other ones. So we're going to skip every other one and put them in. Skip every other one and put it in. And we're going to do the same for this. Alright, so now we have a simple chord progression. Let's listen. Alright, now that sounds nice, but let's say we want to spice it up a little bit, or let's say that you've already used this progression before and you want to use the same scale but not use the same chords. Well, essentially we can do that, and how we do that is we create inversions. Now, inversions are basically taking a note inside the scale. Like for instance, this G sharp, we're going to move that down. So let's hear how it sounds. Alright, that one really wasn't the best, so we'll move it up, and we'll move it up to see how it sounds. A little better. Now, let's do the same thing for the other ones. Alright, so basically we just moved a couple of the notes around. Now, these chords are exactly the same as the chords that we started with. Nothing has changed about them except for the placement of where the notes are. So what I mean by that is the A minor, well, it's not an A minor, but let's say if this was A minor. A minor is A, C, and E. So basically, if we had the A minor, let's draw this out so it's not confusing. A, C, E. Okay, so if we just had this right here, and this is the root note, A. If we move C up, it's essentially still the same chord, even though C is no longer where it was. That's what I was trying to get to. But anyways, so now that we did some inversion to this chord progression, let's listen to it. Okay, so sounds a little different. You may need to go an octave down. Okay, so that is a basic chord progression. Now, you can do any other kind of things like, say you wanted to add extra notes to create more of a movement, can add notes within. So let's add a couple notes and make this a little more interesting. Okay, nothing too crazy, nothing over the top, but it gets the job done. So now let's build a melody over the top, and we're going to use the same idea of what we used to create this chord progression. So we're going to start with the root note. Now, say you didn't want to start with the root note. Say you wanted to start with a different one. So let's start with, let's see. Let's start with B. That didn't work. Okay, whatever. We're just going to start with D. And we're going to create a basic melody within this using the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. Now, don't get me wrong. You can use any of the notes inside of the scale, but when you use these specific notes when creating a melody or a chord, usually they work together. Now, it's not always a guaranteed, but it works for me. And basically, I'm just trying to give you an idea of how to apply these techniques to your own music production. So without further ado, let's get into making this melody. So now another trick when you're building your melodies is utilize half notes. The half step notes that are within the scale, utilize them, because sometimes these notes help create tension, and when you're working in a minor chord, well, a minor scale like I am, it really helps to create an emotion. It basically gives you the feeling of as if it is sad, because that's basically what a minor is going for. Like a major scale is more for like happy, little yachty type beats, and this one's more for like if you were trying to create an emotional environment. Like for instance, a lot of pop songs and things like that, they really utilize this skill a lot because it gives the artist room to really tell their story. And if the melodic elements are all there and they're all in their space and they're doing what they need to do, it helps the artist create their masterpiece. It helps them to tell their story basically. All right, that works. We'll just go with that. So basically, what I did is I just followed the pattern, kind of, but not really, because if it was really following that pattern, you know, the beat would be down and whatnot. But anyways, it's basically just a way of thinking how to approach it. So we ended up starting the melody on the root note, and basically that was the main thing I'm trying to emphasize on is you know, the main chord progression doesn't start on F sharp, which is the root note. It starts on the 7. But that's going to be all for today, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more content like this, please give us a like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.